Oh, now it says.
Hey, here we are, streaming on time, just like we do every single week. Every single week. That's one of the things that we pride ourselves on is our timeliness. Wait, timeliness doesn't mean that anymore, does it? Promptness?
What does timeliness mean if it's
not timely
on time?
Means relevance. Timeliness is relevance.
Is it?
Yeah.
I would, if you had said that sentence, I would have assumed you meant that we were on time. Like punctual.
That's all right. Jonathan's going to back me up.
Or punctuality.
Yeah. By the way, did you see my announcement on Discord?
The announcement where you... Wait, an actual announcement?
Yeah, I was really proud of that.
I saw you respond to Jonathan. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. That is a David announcement if ever I saw one. So we are indeed not canceling the uncanceled state of ongoing affairs.
Indeed.
By streaming today. So I have no idea. Jonathan's with me. Jonathan's with me on timeliness.
I mean, then you're both wrong. I think that...
Wrong by what?
By how English. How she has spoke.
The fact or quality of being done or occurring at a favorable or useful time. That is timeliness, which is also punctuality, because a favorable time is on time. You're giving me a look.
Oh, that's a big assumption.
You're giving me a look, but
that's a big assumption.
If you set something for, say, 2 o'clock and say we're going to be streaming at, say, 2 o'clock, to be timely means you are being favorable to the viewers who are expecting you to be there at 2 o'clock and actually starting at 2 o'clock. That is indeed timely.
May I remind you of the first Ember Island episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Azula and friends are invited to a party from some popular teens. And they say, yeah, be at my house later. And then party is supposed to start at, I don't know, 6 p.m., I think. And as the doorbell rings, the guy opens the door, and there is Azula and party. Or there for the fest, and of course it is an empty house because arriving on time was not arriving at the useful or appropriate time. Azula counters, here we are, right on time. We are the perfect party guests. Recall?
No, but
wow, really? It was a good episode.
Also,
they end up trashing the house.
Anyway, So what you're saying, what David is saying is that he doesn't want to be on time for any stream we ever do because he doesn't respect you or your time. I'm looking right into the camera as I say this, so I'm making eye contact with all of our viewers. While David does not respect your time, I find it favorable to start on time for a stream. Thus, I find it timely. Moving on, David.
That is not what timely means. Anyway, all right. Oh, Patrick, I respect the idea of you a lot more than the instantiation.
Anyway, also, David, I forgot to tell you before the...
Is Matayim.
Exactly. Thank you, Jonathan. You too. And by thanks, I mean thanks right back to you. It's a mutual thinking. Did you check your text messages I had sent you? I didn't have it completely pulled out, but that was...
Oh, yeah, I did.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
All right, so first,
David's got things.
It is post-Christmas, and so it's time for a little show and tell. Yes, there has been some new fun LangTime stuff. Yeah. And we'll start small. We'll start small because I wanted to share this. They got bonus me in your camera.
Well, yeah, but also, if we were going to be showing something, you could have had me prep it and have it out here. instead of you running away. Goodness.
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, and so on.
David.
All right, so first, I got us a new magnet from the Redbubble store. That
Yay!
this is one of my favorite Jessie drawings. This is the singing mouse that Jessie did for the tags for CopyCon.
Yeah.
For the speaker tags, I actually did a tiny bit of photoshopping on this because there was a speech bubble that was coming out of it, and
Indeed.
so I made sure it blended anyway. But that was a small thing.
And yes, Jonathan, that was indeed for the speakers of CopyCon, because if you were there, you may recall that everyone, when they filled out their name, like when they filled out their entrance information, attendance information, we asked for your name, but then we also asked for your favorite LangTime animal. And you had a special drawing, so I created new drawings for these tags, and each one was featuring a different LangTime animal. And so that was like the attendee badge, was whatever your favorite LangTime animal was. And if you didn't select one, then you just got randomly placed into a group.
Yeah. So also, much bigger than this is that, and those on the Discord saw a little preview of this, but Jessie used the Sovala animals to create her own board game, one that was much simpler, that for example my daughter might be able to play, to kind of introduce her to the idea. But like it is so all out. She made all of these really cool things to go with it. I'll show you some of them. Studious followers of the stream will know that, and the thing that mutated the mammals. What? Oh God, this is just, oh my goodness.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Oh, it's a disaster. It's a disaster.
Well, I feel like the more you're playing with it, the more it wants to stand up. So like you're kind of...
I can feel Mateus's eyes rolling from here. Anyway, but yeah. So the one of the things that was going to happen in the Sovalaverse was that the small mammals, not large mammals, small mammals are going to be mutated into more or less anthropomorphic beings. And there are so many, and it takes so long to create a language that we didn't really delve into the other animals. We knew that it was not going to affect. It was going to affect different animals in different ways. The thought was it was going to affect fish by essentially making them a little bigger and more nutritious, for all around. But not give them sentience. We essentially tabled lizards and amphibians, which it would be really convenient if only a particular, only mammals lived in a certain area, and then lizards and stuff lived in another area. That would be nice. But the thing is, if you're talking about an area, obviously you have to talk about all of the animals there. But yeah, essentially lizards and amphibians are tabled. Larger mammals, we were going to say, are unaffected, and these don't fall into biological groupings that I think any serious or even semi-serious biologist would recognize. Bibluridian is just ripping up his hat right now. And birds were in play, theoretically, but it had kind of been set aside. Insects were going to be a part of it. The idea is that insects were going to get much bigger and more aggressive. Anyway, and so in this game, you essentially go through. You're kind of like an omniscient player, and you go through a board, which Jessie had made. All right, so let me get
Almost
this right side up. You're only ever going to be able to see part of it, though. But you kind of go through a board. You roll dice and move through it, and you see little animals. And as you get there, you roll and get to kind of like add to your party. Right.
You know, I could also just share the image with you.
You could, but I mean, it's so cool because it's a real thing, you know? Anyway. And then
I did, however, you'll see I cheated and I put a turtle on there, and that's because I'm a turtle.
Yeah.
And so I did put a turtle as a bonus creature.
The actual images on the board really do nothing but mark places because that is where you put cards and specific ones of little animals. Jessie went through and drew pictures of each one of the animals from the original game. So not the beavers or the foxes.
Yeah, no expansion.
But
it was just the original. Because at that point we didn't have them.
Yeah, this is honestly one of my favorites. Jessie has been working on this. When did you get this idea, and when did you start working on it?
I got the idea early in the year, and I started really, really seriously working on it over the summer.
About the,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one's really good.
And
I don't know if you can see the details, but there are little leaves in the name of it. Just extraordinary. So yeah, the images on the board are just basically like, you know, where the turtle is, put these cards and so on. And then you also might have noticed that the board spaces where you walk are completely blank. By the way, though, that they're bordered by little rocks. Jessie drew each one individually.
Little individual rocks.
Yeah.
Thousands of them.
But this is actually kind of brilliant. You've seen this with other board games, but there are special spaces on the board that get randomly assigned each time you play, either by dice roll or just by throwing random things on there. And so there are three possible spaces. One is a trap, which looks like this, where basically you have to sit there until you roll what's on the die. You have 2 shots each time, and you have 3 turns to get out of it. And then if you do, you get to keep it, and you can place it somewhere else. There are also these lucky die. Essentially, CP stands for charisma points, which are a currency that you keep throughout the game. The charisma points are used to essentially hire animals, but not like it's a currency. It's
called befriending them.
Yeah, you befriend them.
You befriend a beastie by having enough charisma to basically exude it and spend your charisma points to befriend a beastie, and they join you on your quest.
Yeah, that token was pretty clever. I didn't quite get how it worked at first, just when reading the rules, but essentially it's a spot where you don't get it. The token stays there, but it's like if you roll into it with that number, or roll that number leaving it, you get that number of charisma points. And it's just like a random way to get some extra
stuff. And I managed
to
get 6.
Yeah, it was good. And then the big thing is that she created essentially little NPC insects that you battle along the way. And they're kind of like traps. You can lay them back down on the board, even on somebody, to try to retard their progress. But let me see some of my favorites. The roly-poly.
Oh, I did like that one.
Yeah, the roly-poly is fantastic. And then the one that you can't even fight. It's too powerful. And honestly, it reminds me of the Wiggler from the Super Mario Brothers universe. It is the many-footed caterpillar. You just get there and you basically have to hide. Because you can battle these insects, or you can hide in a spot on the board, and each path has its own hiding spot, its own unique hiding spot, where you can hide, lose a turn, and then move on. Anyway, so this is just, honestly, this is a major surprise, and quite the delight. There'll need to be some rule adjustments to get it working. By the way, I had one, the most obvious one.
The things are too high, I think. They're stacked up a little bit. No? Okay, from this angle it looked like it. Okay.
Which is that in insect battles, you should be able to use your whole party. Your whole active party. And I think that there's a way that you
It
can
could
do
take
it.
too long, but sure.
I think there's a way you can do it without adjusting anything else, and
Okay.
I don't think it would add to. I don't think it would add to the time. Anyway, so that was one big surprise. The other big surprise is that, or perhaps you've seen over the years, Jessie makes a new calendar each year, but the calendar she made this year, oh my goodness, this one was just extraordinary. So I'm gonna open it up here. And then I'm going to have to make sure it's positioned just right on the screen so you can see it. But yeah, there we go. And I think it's as big as we're going to make it. Okay, so then we're going to do...
Oh, you changing which window is viewed?
Yeah, so I'm going to need your help to tell me if it's all in frame.
It's catching up. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it.
All right. So this is exactly what it looks like. It's a Kopi calendar of slogans. Jessie took 12 slogans I've used for Kopiko on streams over the years and made images of them. So get ready for this. Some of these are just, honestly. All right, so here we go. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. I jumped too far because it is going. Okay, January. A Kopikano of flavor in your mouth. And there is the volcano of Kopiko and a little mouse with a map. Very good.
And the exclamation dot is a little Kopiko. Just want to point that out.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you can barely see that, but it's there. Next, for those moments that you share that you don't know you're sharing. Couple of details I want to point out. First, you can see the calendar on the wall is January, and we have this fox wearing a towel, while not knowing that they are on Zoomies. That is, their camera is on the app Zoomies in Universe, where you see a nonplussed cat looking, saying like, uh-oh. And because you can see in the little window on the Zoomies thing that indeed they are on camera in a towel. Fantastic.
Just walking
around. Next, when all you can do is think of Biblaridian and he's not there. And of course, what the rabbit is imagining is a Biblaridon. Those little books instead of spines.
Love you, Bib.
It would honestly be great if Bib was not here right now to witness this. It would just absolutely capture the moment. All right. April, the only cure for seasonal allergies is Kopiko. And as Jessie pointed out, having recently reviewed a lot of our streams in order to find slogans to illustrate, one or both of us seems to either be sick or have problems with allergies a lot.
A lot, yes. And a lot of Kopiko slogans. I had to keep going and looking for more because so many were about like, oh, I hope this helps me feel better kind of meaning. And it's like, well, gosh, I can't have a whole calendar about being sick. But this is apparently how we live.
Very cute. And of course, it's a beaver. It's me. With an orange shirt.
And a Kopiko in your pocket.
Oh, this is good. Estresada, destrésese con Kopiko. Nunca olvida Kopiko. Are you stressed? De-stress yourself with Kopiko. Don't never forget Kopiko. And we have this little mouse. I'm sorry, this little squirrel that's all jittery with coffee. I did point out that the say should probably be a suffix and there should be an accent over the E, but it still works. It still works. It's wonderful. And this howling coyote. He's stressing out the squirrel. That's why the squirrel is stressed, because of the coyote. I get it. Ah, love it. All right. Perhaps my favorite. The Matiste of LangTime Studio is Kopiko, and Jessie has created this Matisse owl with the hair, with the choker. It's an owl. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Blew me away. I was like, oh my God.
We'll have Matisse on our wall for a whole month. Yay!
Yep. Love this one. All right. July, for when it's a sweltering 77 degrees in your place of life. And it's Jessie, of course, with the personal fan. Since, as we know, 77 is far from sweltering. 77 is almost just right. I would say 78. 78 is perfect. 78 is perfect. 77, it's a little chillier than I'd like it to be, but it's still pretty good. It's freezing here, of course.
And babe, I'm sending you a text, and I just want to say, I didn't know, but this was where I got the Copico thing from for the Spanish. And that was a David text where David made the error first.
Oh, yeah, it's...
And I copied it.
You're absolutely right.
And so
Oh
I
my
just,
gosh.
like, listen, I get I made a mistake, but David made the mistake. And so, Jonathan, you may not remember that one Copico slogan because I actually pulled it from Discord. Because I was looking on Discord first to see if anyone had ever mentioned a Copico slogan, so it would be less work for me to have to like go through episodes. And this was the only one I found, and it wasn't even a slogan from the show. It was just David saying it on Discord. And I immediately got an idea in my head of a jittery squirrel drinking espresso.
That's
so I'm
incredible.
like, I've got
That's
to do
incredible.
this. And so I just copied it. And so, yes, it's,
That was all.
a small little error.
That was all me.
We can fix it with a magic marker, David.
That was all me. What was I thinking? Oh, maybe I just wanted to type it out just really fast before I forgot about it. By the way, it's pretty cold here. It's actually 2 degrees above freezing. If you can see that. 65. If it falls another 2 degrees,
David.
it's going to be
David.
it's going to be time to pull out the blankets. All right, August. Dark Horse, this one's for you.
I think that's almost exactly how you said it, too, originally.
Oh, man. Love it. That little bandana. Next. Oh, whoa, Copico. I know I've never been, but I'd sure like to go.
Is it a coconut?
Oh, he's in a coconut. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, wait, I hit the wrong button. 10. When everything else is wrong, Copico is always right. Oh, that's a very nice one. I like that. November. Don't drop yours. And you see that Copico brick, it's about to go and shatter. And the cat saying, Oza Yamosa.
As everyone does when their Copico goes flying.
Oh my goodness. And finally, December, here we are. Copico, the noise of friendship. That one dedicated to Jonathan.
Oh, Matisse.
Just wonderful.
Matisse just went all green like for the Altes Metal.
Anyway, so I wanted to share those with you. First, we'll upload the images to Discord so you can see them. It would be honestly, it would be lovely if the Red Pebble store would do calendars, but they don't. So it's
Yeah, we ran into that last year because I at first got really excited whenever I saw there was like a calendar option. And so I told David, we could totally print these out and people could just buy a calendar. But then like when we actually went to look at it, effectively it was like just a notebook with the picture on the cover. Like, and so it wasn't at all an actual calendar. So yeah, it is very sad.
Yeah. But I think.
And thank you, Jonathan.
I think in order to celebrate, though. Oh, do you already have it?
No, because I brought these. So yeah, go ahead and go get it. We do need to celebrate officially with the Kopiko.
Yeah. Our lone official, unofficial sponsor, Kopiko, they swear the check is in the mail.
I will. Oh, as a side note, once I had figured out what I was doing for the calendar, I will say that from that point on, while you were doing the Kopiko slogan, I was over here writing down what you said, so that way I wouldn't have to look it up later, and so that way I could decide if I wanted to use it. So that made it better, because let me tell you, watching a whole lot of streams for, like, I gotta say, your slogans can be pretty good, but some of them are so context dependent that it's like, there's like nothing I can do with this. And so it took a while. And again, a lot of them were about being sick. And I was like, I'll take one or two, but like, not gonna do a whole calendar of sick slogans. And so yeah, I was very grateful once I figured out and started taking notes. And I also couldn't figure out how to do the one where you did a very long oldest joke in history Kopiko slogan, where it was like a dog walked into a bar.
Oh yeah, and a dog walked into a bar and couldn't see anything, so he opened one.
Right. And so like I had like a half idea for that, but then I was like, gosh, that's going to be a lot of verbiage, and I wasn't sure where to take it on the rest of it. So anyway, yeah, there were a lot that were kind of crazy.
Well, anyway, cheers, partner.
Here we go. Cheers. Jonathan, it did. And so quite frankly, what I was doing was just kind of zooming through as best as possible. And sometimes the cheers is on camera, or we hold up a Kopiko, and I was able to like capture that moment in the little like preview as I was sliding, and so I was able to be like, okay, here it's going to be. Other times though, it like the previews kind of jump as you try to move ahead a little bit, so it's like you're not always seeing every second, and so sometimes that didn't work. And a lot of morning hours were spent doing that, babe, while you were upstairs, and I was able to be down here watching LangTime episodes on my own.
Thanks for boosting our viewership numbers.
I did.
Kopiko. The extra K is for context.
Oh, man.
All right. So before moving on with our cat names, I did want to share that we have at least finished with the very first stable version of the Beaver font.
Yay!
I'm pretty happy with it. I want to show you a couple of the things that the last things that we were looking at. We found this actually would be a good one. I'm gonna increase the font size of this word so that you can see it. All right, so.
In Dark Horse, I only see one message as well, just like Jonathan had just said. But go on, David.
If we were to follow this word, say, with key. Oh, because it's. There we go. Essentially, we have this diacritic running directly into that. The reason that you saw it a little askew is because it was justified. So that's something that can only be fixed with producing a brand new glyph. So maybe I'll do that in future. But assuming that it's not justified, that it's right or left or center justified, anytime you produce this character next to a character like this, the diacritic will go directly into that leg. So that was one of the things we did.
Nice.
Otherwise, if you were to get rid of this, let's say AHM, the diacritic would flow into this top diacritic. Whereas by itself, you see it just goes like that. So that was some of what we took care of.
Nice.
Also, there was the reduplication issue. I remember that with N.
You can look up the word for squirrel.
Yeah, that's actually exactly where I was going. So, the word for squirrel is neat with a geminate N in the middle, or neat, word final stress. And we came up with a couple of ways to do this because we discovered if you just were to spell it, thanks to the synharmonic cancellation, you do NI, then NI again, in order to cancel the I vowel, and so that's neen. And then for neat, well, another NI, and then TI for synharmonic cancellation. And so neat is spelled with 3 squirrels in a row, 3 earless squirrels in a row. And that seemed a little odd because that situation was going to occur anytime you had that. So we came up with a strategy of using a number glyph to just throw in there to say that there were X number of copies of this. I wasn't necessarily sure which spelling was best, so I put up 2. This is ni plus a 3, saying that there's 3 copies of this. So ni. And then the T. This, on the other hand, is like this half of the word is ni plus a 2, saying there's 2 copies of it. And this is a simple glyph. It would just be 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3 at most, compared to some of the other ones. So that's simpler. And then this half, you just continue on. I'm not sure which spelling is better, but now we can do either one. So, yeah. That version of the font and the final document has been shared with patrons at the requisite level, and so now it is up, and yeah, we're ready we're ready for our Beaver language to move on, once we start getting to names and things like that, just like we're doing right now with our cats.
Yay!
And so that's where we're at. Though, hey, now that I'm looking at it, you want to share your massive sock? Check this out.
So if you're on Discord, you saw this already.
It's just something in person.
It's, it's a big. So I had never made socks before. Knitting, I had crocheted socks, but never knit socks. And I had also, with knitting, never done color work, which is having to have the blue and the gold going at the same time, and you only see one of the colors. And so I had never done either of those things before. And so because of that, I wanted to do a practice sock, basically, to make sure I understood how to do the things. But I wanted my practice sock to be with bigger yarn so I could see what I was doing more easily, because sock yarn is very small. The needles for sock yarn are very small. And it makes it really hard to see and count stitches, and if you make a mistake, it's really hard to sort of get back to where you were. And so to make it easier, I used regular size yarn, just like regular yarn, and what I call regular size needles for that yarn. And it created a sock on the pattern that was very large. But now this is David's sock stocking, because every Christmas Eve he'll get a pair of socks from me, and they will be in this stocking. And so there we have it.
But what was the original reason that you created this massive sock?
I said it. The practice.
Oh, okay.
Did I not just spend 5 minutes explaining that whole thing?
I guess.
I said I needed to make a practice sock.
It's just amazing that it was so big.
And I explained that too, because I needed to see the stitches.
You know what, Jonathan says you explained it very well, so you probably did. I was probably distracted by Karis's question, but I just found it amazing that in order to practice making a real sock, you made a massive sock.
It's because the technique. I needed to learn the technique. Listen, for people who do yarn stuff, they know. And for people who don't do yarn stuff, they could probably understand. I feel like you're just confused.
Probably. Are you still wearing the other sock?
I am, yeah.
That might be harder to show on camera, but the socks that were made for me were orange and kind of a cream. which are very me colors. But these colors that you selected for this massive sock, they're just, what a wonderful color combination.
Oh, I thought so too. And they were just, like extra balls of yarn left over from other projects. So I was able to use up some yarn from my stash and create a big. And once I had decided I was going to do this to test it out, my goal was to make you a stocking for your socks. I didn't realize how big it was going to be until
So good.
I did this. But I'm also thinking about adding a little hook. So if we decide, we could hang it up. And so, that's your sock stocking.
All right, so next we are back to cats and names, and there's a specific thing that we need to do. And so I thought we could do that now. We need to figure out ordinals. And then put the
Put the lid on them?
Put the lid on that.
Okay, so this language was a base 6, right? Or is it base 12?
What is the base of this language? Is it base 12? I'm pretty sure.
It was a multiple of 6. 12, yeah, 12, based on our little things here.
Yeah, but
I literally can't believe the snail made it into this.
well, I mean, we just made this. I mean, it's not a part of the. We just made it because it's cute.
My goodness. It's not part of the counting system?
No.
Look at number 10 on the number system chart.
Oh yeah, but that's not the snail. Here, wait. What keystroke do we do for the snail?
You and I see different things.
Uh-oh. Do you not have the most recent version of the font installed?
I'm guessing I don't. My version of 10 looks far cuter than what you have.
Oh, Jessie. You should probably...
Mine has the actual snail.
You should probably install the correct version of the font. I will tell you which version it is.
I mean, I'll do it after the stream. I'm not gonna... We got naming stuff to do. It's not like I'm over here typing in the font and it won't mess up what you see.
It's version 3.006. All right. Oh. Somebody said that they see a fish hook. If we want to just share a little more, do we want to share the fish wife?
Oh.
Just, they're so cool. All right.
Well, the tin is over here. The fish is all put away.
Oh.
But the tin is right there because I thought we could use it for cards.
So it's empty?
And actually, yeah, it's
Okay.
empty. I got David a fishwife gift set of different tinned fishes because they look really cool. It's a woman-owned company, local business type thing that they do ship. And they've got really good reviews on their tinned fishes.
Look at Dark Horse put a hook in chat. Mm-hmm. It kind of looks like a little ducky.
Oh my gosh, I see it. Yeah, the snail only has one set of eyes and little antennae, but I do that all the time, Karis, where I think I remember one thing. Ooh. Nice, Mateus. Okay. So.
I mean, we do have to come up with numbers for 8 through 12 eventually, but more important because the ordinal number was going to be a part of every single name, and it was going to be birth order. So I can't imagine us needing numbers for 8 through 12 right away. What we do need is some sort of
Unless we had a big litter.
Of an ordinal strategy.
How do numbers work in general? Did we actually do that? Like if we're counting like 8 cats?
We did. We did that recently.
Okay.
I didn't put the orthography in the document. I should do that. But here we go. So if you go to the cardinal number section.
Here we go. Yeah, I see it. I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so genitive followed by numeral. Okay.
Yeah, and so turning them into adjectives, I think, makes a lot of sense. We just need to figure out how to do so.
So adjectives come from verbs in this language because they're state of verbs effectively.
Yeah. And having a verb that means to be third or to be fourth, it's fine.
And this wasn't one of those languages where we just said, like, the number also means the verb when necessary?
No, I can't imagine that because some of these actually come from nouns. Most of them actually come from nouns, the numbers do.
Okay. What language? Was that Holocaust?
Gosh, I'm so sorry, Magpie. Did they at least pay you before they turned into swans?
Like, recently we did a language where, like, literally every time we entered a number in the dictionary, we also had to enter the verb form to say, like, to be fourth or to be third.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was what I was thinking of, and now my brain is like, I have this very specific memory of having to do that. Totally not this language. It's fine.
So that one was because of placement. This one, it's hard to imagine that if the number comes after it and requires the genitive, it's hard to imagine just sticking the number in front and having it mean second, third, fourth. It needs something.
What if we create either a complex verb or just an expression that gets used? Because effectively any adjective is going to be a mini relative clause anyway. And so what if we use the verb to stand, ghal, G-H-A-L, and say, like, standing in one or standing in three or at. So we've got a locative, if I remember correctly. Or, okay, we've got an allative, ablative, illative, benefactive, genitive.
No, that's really good. Do you want to use a different one for number one, being like leading?
Yeah, we could definitely do that.
Yeah, let's remind ourselves how relative clauses work. Stative verbs can be used as prenominal modifiers when they occur in the form of a relative clause. This makes them feel a bit more like adjectives. So say, barley is rough, the cat ate the rough barley. So, Momo, Sarkezhe. I see. So the cat is rough, barley ate. So we would essentially need that to throw on the end of the verb for stand, and then also have the number be out front, and then also a verb that means to lead. And we don't have
lead.
We don't have that yet. And then does it have an agreement? Does it have nominal agreement or no?
The mini clause has effectively subject agreement, so it comes off as nominal agreement, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's yeah. Because what we see there is the AT, like, intransitive form of the verb, and the initial K is agreement. All right. All right. Good deal. That's fine. Then, and yeah, AT-lick would be leading. AT-lick is standing, so that works. And the only question is if lead is going to be transitive.
I think the sense that we want.
Anybody want to jump in with some Nat Lang details for a verb that means to lead or to be in front of, to cause people to follow you?
Which is interesting because inherently there is, no matter what, there's an understood, like if you're leading someone, you have to be leading someone or something. Like
right.
you. Sorry.
I could have stopped that.
Sorry. But like, yeah, if you're leading, inherently there's got to be something or someone being led. Mm-hmm. And so that seems to me like it would be a transitive verb, which would mean we would have to express some sort of just like them or others kind of object.
Yeah, it's like if it was intransitive, if we can wrap our heads around the idea of this activity being intransitive, the quote-unquote object could be in the benefactive. That is, you lead for somebody to follow. It's just it's hard to imagine this concept, which is so inherently transitive, being an intransitive verb. And the only reason I think this is an issue is because this is patientive transitive and receptive transitive. Oh, no, right. It would be patientive transitive. Is that we would need to throw the object in there.
I have a potential idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if instead standing standing in one or at one or whatever is the verb that you use for first.
Mm-hmm.
But then others, we use the verb to crouch. They crouch at 2. They crouch at 3. Because and like specifically this verb, because that's how we use for the comparative. Like, the kitten is cuter than the puppy. We say the puppy crouches in cuteness to the kitty.
That's such a good idea.
And so if we take that same concept and say effectively we're doing the same thing, you're coming behind them, you're under, and so you're crouching, and then your position is 2. Your position is 3.
That's such an unbelievably perfect idea. Well done. You've done it.
Thank you.
Wow.
We could also use pounce instead of stand if you prefer a more active interpretation for like first.
Nah, that's good.
And then we don't have to mess with these other things.
All right. Okay.
And mats is to crouch.
Huh.
What's going on in your head?
Hadn't we just used mats? Isn't that our name? Bar mats.
Yeah, he's the croucher.
Really?
Oh my god. Yes.
Why did we use mats? I thought it was supposed to be a tall cat.
Oh, maybe because he's always crouching to get through a door.
Did we just use the wrong word? Okay, we didn't create a word for tall.
You told me that was tall, I think.
Yeah. I thought it was. It's not.
Did you just... And then I think when I questioned you, you were like, it's our word for Matisse.
Yeah, and I'm not
like,
sure.
I think that's just what you had said, and I was like, oh, okay.
I'm not sure that's true either. The protoform is M as Z.
No, yeah, so it's not Matisse. That's... Unless that was a chosen form that Matisse had used for the modern... This was before we were marking patron words, so we don't actually know.
I feel like we need to change this name because the whole point was that this cat was supposed to be taller than usual. But then how would they know when they named the cat that?
We do have a verb for to stretch if we want it to be like, you know, even as a kitten he stretched a lot.
Yeah, an unusually tall cat with a penchant for mischief.
But you're right, when he was born, how would they have known? So stretch could get us there, except it would be just because he was a stretchy kitty.
Yeah. I'm only getting one hit on stretch, and that's as the intransitive AT.
Yeah.
Like,
we haven't actually put it in the dictionary yet.
Oh.
And so.
Interesting. All right, Lexergy. Now is your time to shine. Uh-oh, getting a 500 internal server error.
Oh. That stings.
1 sec. Old Lexergy is still working.
Okay. It was just the new interface?
Mm-hmm. Which ones of these are... Which one is the sets for verbs? It's not that one.
Oh, stretch is going to be intransitive, so I can give you a... Ugh. And then I think we needed emphasis on indifference. And I feel like there was one more that we needed.
I think this might have to be an old verb that doesn't come out of stretch anymore because it looks just like the inflection. Ah.
Okay.
Can we do something to it?
We don't have applicatives in this language.
No.
All of my ideas, we don't have any way to deal with it in this language yet. So
let's try to use a serial a verb augment. Some sort of intransitive. Let's see.
we have the extensive.
We do?
Yeah.
Oh, we already have something. Oh, fantastic. What's the extensive?
L and then a capital I. So
Perfect.
hi.
Perfect. Let's see what comes out as. Let's see what happens to that. Okay, the word for stretch would be aglo.
Kind of like it.
Aglo. Yeah, I kind of like it too. Let's see if we have that, if we've used that anywhere.
And Karis, I 100% believe you. Jonathan does too. I don't know. I don't know if we just like the name Barmots, and so we were like, let's do it.
Okay. Now's where I'm going to need a little bit of help.
Okay.
Okay, so feels silly to have to do this, but we're entering the old verb just for the sake of saying that it's no longer used.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Is everything falling apart?
You see anything in the stream?
Oh, I was looking at my document.
It's alright. Is that really how it's spelled?
Are you talking about like in the actual Sarkezhe?
Yeah. Okay, so help me out. What are the endings for if it's an intransitive verb and it ends in an ah and a consonant?
Oh. And a consonant. Just a second. I was
That's probably that.
I know it comes from. We've got protoforms of
probably that.
EB, and then of course the OLX are the grammatical endings. I would need to do it in Lex or G. I was quickly reviewing something
I think I got
here.
it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Two. All right, and so this one is going to be Achlo, is that what we said? L-O.
Yeah.
But like, what should the spelling of that be?
Oh. Would it just stay the KH?
Like it's.
Have we used this suffix yet?
Oh yeah, we have. But
Well, we spelled. Oh no, that one doesn't change. We had a copy and paste error. I was going through looking to see if we had examples and to see how it changes. The number 6.
mm-hmm.
So, a umlaut r.
Yeah.
It's pronounced bon. When we spell that, it should just be still a umlaut r, right? Yeah, because that's this one right behind it is the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that one's respelled. So
that one didn't change.
This one, but what makes it long though? What makes it long? Does it have to be that? I think this is actually going to be.
I think the spelling reflects changes, so it should be. How are we spelling the GH?
We're spelling that at least GH. But it's really the O and the L that I'm interested in.
Isn't L just spelled L?
There's no L in it anymore. We're talking about how ol becomes ar. We do doubled vowels, though, don't we? We do double vowels. Yeah, we do. I think that's what I should do. So it's not spelled O-L, it's spelled I wish I could get confirmation of that if there was any root that had an in it. Like I see the double
Wait. You said there's no.
There it is.
You said there's
there
no
it is.
L anymore.
There it is. I got it.
But can I just back up a second? You said there's no L.
O-L-X? No.
You mean just in the? Never mind. I thought you meant in the language. I was like,
no.
What? But O is definitely spelled A in its modern form here.
Yeah, I've got confirmation right here in the verb to cross. So.
Which is just where I made it, because I was literally searching for any sequence of OL in this dictionary.
Oh, okay.
So I just made it there.
Oh my goodness, we've done it. All right, so then aglo. Now we just need to see what happens to an intransitive verb that ends in an L. And it ends in an O.
An intransitive verb that ends in an O.
Yeah.
Hobo, to be white, becomes hubu.
Then it doesn't end in an O.
It ends in protoform does. You don't want protoform?
No.
You want the actual.
Mm-hmm.
So any protoform is going to come out as an oo. Okay. How do you check that then?
I'm up to the M's.
Oh. I'll start at the Y's.
Here we go. Ob, och. There we go. Got it.
Okay. And I will stop searching. You got what you need. Okay.
All right.
Aglo to stretch.
And we'll worry about adding more words to that later. We've got that. And so this is going to be our poor bar mats. Name change again. We'll have this be an old one, I think. Barma. Oh, right? Because the name suffix.
Oh, it does the vowel harmony.
Yeah.
Okay.
The non-low. So he went from bar mats to barajo. Barajo. Yeah, because it's initial stress. The helpful stretcher. All right. We're so close to actually doing something. Okay, now some sort of cardinal, ordinal number thing.
So now to get back to where we were going.
Now to get back to where we were going.
The whole point of this was that mats would be to crouch, and that we would use that as potentially as the verb, meaning like to crouch at 2.
Right.
To mean like second place effectively.
Press at 2 and stand at 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
At, because if I'm reading the comparative construction correctly, at, like the allative is what we used.
Okay. Khal.
Let me double check.
Oh my god, these forms are going to be so massive.
Okay, I was re-verifying there. Did you actually put a
We can't do
form?
this. It's going to be way too big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be way too big. So I think for first we should just use standing. And then for the rest it's going to be crouch 2, crouch 3, and so on, but not using the allative. It's too big.
Just use the number, like, so still use crouch 1,
Mhm.
or not 1, but crouch 3, crouch 4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, because the other thing I was going to potentially suggest was just like, right now, numbers are completely separate from nouns. They're just numbers.
Mhm.
If we turned it into, I guess we can't really do nominal modifiers in this language. But if we turned it into a class 9, which is our, kind of abstract. So like instead of 2, the number, it would be 2 class 9, and that indicates it's being used as like second place.
Oh, I see. And just get rid of crouch entirely and then put the...
Well, that could be like the longer way of doing it. Like, so like you could have like a, more expressive way of doing it, saying like, this cat crouching third, was in the blah, blah, blah. But then in names where it's like you're trying to make it shorter, it's like, you just say like the third.
I mean, we don't need that. So we don't...
Okay.
The thing is, we don't necessarily have, or we haven't really discussed using nouns by themselves as modifiers, but noun phrases, absolutely. So you could just say the at 2 cat, the at 3 cat, and so on. And creating them in exactly the way that you suggested. Let's... hold on a sec.
I think part of it will just be phonoaesthetics. What sounds better at the end of the day?
There's,
Is the crouching 3 sound better, or at 3 sound better?
There's no way we're going to be able to avoid a nasal vowel. So that'll just be a part of this one way or the other. What's the number 2 and what's the number 3?
Okay, 2 is bon, which comes from the protoform ben.
Okay.
3 is mar, M-A-R.
Okay. Is it with a mar?
Well, it's spelled M-A-R in the modern form.
And so its proto is probably just a regular trill. Mar.
Whatever gave us that, I completely forget. So yeah.
Okay. So then, if both of these were to become class 9, that's adding hum. Let's see what that comes out as first. Ben plus hum and mar plus hum. Okay, bine and maron, those are good. And so then we already have that. So bine, maron. All right, and so now let's take those and I think it was kus, right?
Which one was kus?
The allative, and then num was the other one. Okay, so we have binanges, marongos. So binanges, marongos. It's it synergizes with that sound change where you get nasal vowel followed by velar nasal, and then the nasality stops. So binanes and marongos, or binane maronon.
I'm gonna go option 1 if you're asking me.
Yeah. And that's the olive.
But like, if you didn't want to ask me and you wanted to ask the group just to see what they think, so we can then overrule them, I mean, that's fine too. I don't want to take away from anyone's.
Honestly, this is good. So it's no longer going to be the case that these things are verbs. Instead, they're going to be nouns. And so now we automatically have a way to say the second one, the third one, and so on. Mm-hmm. And so, with that in mind, thank you, Miles.
And Magpie agrees too.
With that in mind, we have this verb that means to stand. I think that that this in the in class 9 should just be first.
I like it.
And that is rallon.
Nice.
I like that a lot. Okay. Let me find a back vowel one to copy.
So it's always a little unfortunate to undo work that we had done, but at the same time,
yeah,
I like where we're going with this.
Me too. So just save it for another language. So that is rallon, rallon.
Excellent. And then this will be first.
Yes, and so this will be first one essentially, and then we'll just make a note ordinal in the olive, and all right. I'm also gonna jump into 3 since it has the same vowel harmony. Oh, that was a cough. Everybody loves coughs. Sneezes, you have to mute the mic for. Everybody loves coughs. Okay.
Everyone loves them, especially when they become the alarm clock in the morning. Wake the whole house up. Because in true LangTime tradition, at least one of us is sick. Mm-hmm. Me.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I have been waking us up lately, and by us, quite often it's just me. David often goes back to sleep, but this morning it was a bad coughing attack, and poor David. I don't know if he's ready to wake up, but
I couldn't get back to sleep. I had a very strange
probably
experience.
because I hacked up a lung next to you.
I had a dream that I was listening to a song but couldn't remember the lyrics, like exactly how they went. It was always like a syllable off, and so the meter wasn't matching. But then when I woke up, it was the song the Snake. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then like when I woke up and had my bearings, it's like, oh, the lyrics go like this, and they fit perfectly. It was only in my dream that I couldn't remember how the lyrics exactly went, and that they weren't working.
That's interesting.
Very strange. Okay.
Oh man, Mateus, I'm sorry to hear that. I swear, coughing things have been going around lately.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not the only one in the family who's coughing.
That's true. Okay, and then this one is Bina. Bina.
And that one was going to be second, right?
Yes. And so then this goes like this, and that must change to that. Good. All right.
Hey, you ready to celebrate?
Yeah, I mean, I could do 4, 5, and 6, but
How many cats are we going to have in these litters? They're getting bigger now, David. You'd think the litters get smaller.
yeah, I think so. But also, cats don't have the kind of litters that rabbits do. So this is a unique celebration because Jessie made us pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. They're so good. Everything she does is so good. It's kind of incredible.
Oh,
Never
you're very sweet.
spent some time thinking about just how lucky we are that we get to exist at the same time as Jessie.
You're really too sweet, thank you.
Now these are,
But yes, I am excited about these cupcakes. So I not that I totally brought these out and suggested we celebrate now just because I was like, I'm in the mood for a cupcake. Ooh. Oh no, is it harder to get, Jake? Because it sounds like that would be a trip for you just for some canned pumpkin.
Feels like anything that grows out of the ground is harder to get in London.
No, but Jake has to go to London to get it.
Oh, I see. Even so.
And honestly, we should just invite Carl here someday. Carl, you should come visit. I'll make you some cupcakes. Mailing them requires me to, go to a post office or something. And to tell you how much work that seems to take my brain, we bought a Christmas card for a friend of mine. It's still sitting on my desk because we would have to mail it. So my friend's going to get this Christmas card in January.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was wondering, why you hadn't sent that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything because, it's your friend, it's your business.
Well, and he's not watching, so I can say this on national television. I'm going to ruin the surprise. I'm going to send it along with an Emo's gift certificate, so the lateness will be immediately forgiven. Not that he was expecting a Christmas card in the first place, but well, Emo's. That just makes Christmas continue. Who doesn't want that?
Are those
So
live pumpkins, Logan?
Yes, they are. This was on Blue Sky. Logan was like, what do I do with this many pumpkins? Oh, Miles, it's IMO apostrophe S. Oh, sure, thanks.
Yeah, it's a fun treat if you go to St. Louis.
It's a St. Louis, Missouri pizza tradition. Well, and then in other places in Missouri too, but that's where it started with St. Louis. I've been talking about it since season 2. Jake was saying that the pumpkin is a seasonal thing, and so it's available more widely. when it's in season. But now it's past, I guess, and so now they have to go to London if they want some.
You just pick them straight off the curb.
Is that where the tinned pumpkin grows?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you thinking get a live pumpkin off the curb?
I was thinking live pumpkin, but it makes sense that they would tin them, first. Mm-hmm. Just grow them inside the tin. It's a lot more efficient.
Okay.
All right. So now we have patterns for front and back bow. So I'll just do this real quick. But in the meantime, I would love you to go to our first cat and think about that cat's birth order.
Total middle child, David.
All right.
This tall cat making mischief. Middle child.
I like it. Let's see, this is going to be a front vowel 1.
And Jake, I have thought the same thing. Like I will roast things for some recipes, but with pumpkin, it's like the canned pumpkin ends up working so well for most recipes that it's like that's a lot of work, unless the flavor is the star of the dessert. And while like pumpkin cupcakes, it's like, yeah, pumpkin is the overwhelming flavor, but you've got so many other ingredients pulling it together that I feel like if I'm going to do some sort of pumpkin roasting thing and take all that energy, it better be for like a straight up pumpkin pie where it's like that is the only flavor, right? But yeah, that is a step I have not yet taken, but that doesn't mean I won't, because goodness knows I now do a lot of things I never thought I'd do, like making fortune cookies.
That was fun. I'm becoming disenchanted with how I have spelled the number 5.
Okay, and as a reminder, the number 5 was key.
Yeah, because...
And you already did yach, number 4?
No, I skipped that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, we're going to have to change the way. It's got to have a more modern spelling. Otherwise, it won't make sense.
Okay. Oh, so I'm going to... When we get down to it, obviously you haven't finished the entry for 5th. But is it going to be Ki? K-I, nasal E?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and enter that on the English side. Ooh, bye, Karis.
Oh, later on, Karis.
Have a great New Year, because we'll see you on, if you're back next stream, it's going to be 2025. So.
Patron live stream 28th.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Karis, if you can make it this Saturday, patron live stream. Be there. Oh, and that's for everyone. Announcement at large. You don't just have to be Karis to have that announcement. This Saturday, patron live stream. It's going to be exciting. And so I urge and encourage all patrons to show up.
This is a really special patron live stream whose logistics, and I mean technical logistics, we haven't yet discussed.
I was just thinking about that this morning, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah.
We're going to figure something out, but oh, no. Patrick, cancel all travel plans.
You heard it. Jessie said it, not even me, so you know it's not a joke.
It's going to be awesome. But, oh my goodness. Okay, Miles, can you and or Remy send me this saffron cardamom pull-apart bread recipe? Like, can you maybe put that, if you're willing to share it on the Newly Teased channel on Discord, please do. Otherwise, just send it to me. I very much am interested in seeing how that was made. I mean, right, Jonathan? That was my absolute first thought. And And I happen to be lucky to be holding some saffron in my pantry from when David's parents went to Spain, and they bought me saffron. Let me nasalize that. And so I'm very, very excited to have something to use it for where like maybe the flavor would come out better, because I don't want to just waste it on something where the flavor is secondary. I want it to be like the star of the show. Okay, are you interested in yach now? Or what are you doing?
I was making sure that this was spelled correctly.
Sure.
And it is. Okay, so the last two, are they front vowel or back vowel?
Well, 4 is
4 is back vowel.
back. And then 2, were you thinking of 6?
6 is
is the
front vowel.
ow. Yeah.
Let me take a look at this. Yeah, arre. Okay, I'm going to do 6 now. Oh, but I need to add another one to the K.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to... Ooh, wow. And first of all, hello, Miles Friedenberg. Well, this Miles has some excellent saffron crystal candy. Wow. Oh, Jonathan, ginger cookies. Yes,
Miles
please.
Friedenberg just dropped in
And announced this amazing thing.
because they're pushing saffron candy. Hear us talking saffron? It's like, psst, hey, got some for you.
And now has a line of people ready to get some saffron candy.
Saffron crystal candy, like that's so it's like
I feel like
Like
it's kinda
rock candy?
like this sugar crystal is
yeah,
what
that
I'm thinking in
sounds-
my head.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound good.
Triple ginger cookies with powdered ginger, grated ginger, and candied ginger. Yes, please. That was the parkin I made was triple ginger because I put
Oh.
candied ginger, fresh ginger, and powdered ginger in it. So much ginger. And I think I probably could have put a bit more in there. All right, 6 is arre. Got it. As anyone listening to the LangTime Luxembourg videos knows, I seem to have a problem doing nasal vowels sometimes. Especially when I kept misinterpreting them as enyes instead of nasal vowels. Whoops.
It garnered a comment, a YouTube comment.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Judgy? Do I need to...
Extremely.
I bet. That's why I don't check these things. I make you read them.
Post GBBO Parkin. That's where we got the idea, Miles. It was
Yeah.
like none of us had ever heard of it. And if you hear Parkin, it sounds like somebody's just, saying parking, like as in parking lot. And they're like, but like saying it very specifically in the colloquial way, we're parking the car, right?
Yeah, parking.
And so it sounds strange.
And so anyway, yeah, we had never heard of it until Great British Bake Off. And so, saw it on there, saw what they did with it, became intrigued by it. And so I started, searching online for recipes and found one. And then came the whole to do, because I couldn't find golden syrup here. And so I had to order ingredients online, but well worth it. It was an interesting little experiment that I would do again. I would totally do that again.
So if we have a geminate r, I think that we have to spell it GHGH.
And not GH.
Yeah.
Did we put that in the romanization section by any chance? I'm searching.
Oh, no. We don't spell it that way in the romanization.
You mean in the actual spelling of the thingamabob?
Yeah, this font was so weird because it allows for sequences that are usually impossible. For example, a K followed by an H is possible. T followed by H is possible. Hang on a second. Got a secret communique from Miles. Oh, wait, we both did.
Ooh, Danielle had never heard of it either. And yeah, it is. If you make it by the way it's done with the particular oats that they use, it is. How would you describe the texture? It's thick, it's dense, and it's.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. But anyway, the longer you let it sit, it really does, like, those flavors really seep in. And the recipe had said give it 3 days before you eat it. We didn't have 3 days because I made it and then we were going to Thanksgiving dinner. And so it was like, I guess we're eating it now. But the leftovers over the next, 3 or 4 days, it really was like the further we got out, I was like, oh my. So if you have the ability to let it sit and you aren't like me and aren't like, I smell ginger in my house, I'm eating it, it is worth the wait. All right, fourth Yahoo.
All right, there we go. And so, binanges. Here we go. We have one name.
Oh my gosh. But that one name gives us a pattern for the other names.
Yes, it does.
Like, this is huge.
Suothojos binanges barajo.
Gosh. This is some good stuff.
Whew. All right. Woo.
All right. So we're done, right?
Pretty much.
Probably because your wife woke you up.
Oh, time to celebrate with a little nappy co.
We can decide based on where you want to go with these characters. We can go ahead and do the birth order things. Because we've got the clan names already for all of these names. But looking at the Necromancer specifically, that 3 and the 5-star, what were some of the features you had hoped to incorporate? And we can start thinking about, like, what do we think their birth order may have been, and also ideas for, like, what name pieces do we think could be fun?
I don't know. So, remind me of something. So these, I guess this is a bit more of a regimented society, because the big cats are associated with particular jobs, essentially, and you're essentially born into it.
Okay, I actually have a question about that.
Yeah.
Because I know in the rabbits, there were rabbits that studied and became, whether they were born with that ability or they became casters or whatever, right? In general, for the abilities that an animal has, is it something you're born with, or is it something you can study and learn? Like, if you're not a druid but you want to be a druid, could you become one through study? Or do you have to have natural ability somewhere in your genes, so studying's not going to help you if you don't have an ability?
Everybody has talent, but yeah, you can study. But yeah, the rabbits, like, their society is freer. They can do whatever. The same is true of the mice. Here is the only one where I feel like you're born into, the mini kingdom, And these are some of the things that can be done in that mini kingdom if you are a cat born there and you don't really do anything else.
And
Even
so,
if you possessed natural talent that pushed you another way.
potentially then, what we would be looking at is like, 'cause I know some of the in some of the kingdoms that we've already come up with names for, the 1 stars are considered to be younger.
Yeah, in
And so
this
they're in
case,
training. In this case, it would just be like, no, you're bad. You could actually be the oldest cat in this group, but like you're just not good at it. So you're a 1 star.
yeah,
Probably you should have followed some other passion at some point in your life, but your parents told you you had to go to college to be this, and so you did, and
Yeah.
you're really not very good at it.
yeah.
Okay.
So very similar to Owl House if you were thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We're talking about blue food in here. What are you doing,
Blue
Miles?
ginger, because I think it was Jake. Yeah, Jake had said there's warnings on some bags of ginger here now, or there rather, because they've started getting Brazilian ginger, and it's got a blue color to it.
Hmm.
And so that started a thing. And fair. So that is and now I want to look up blue ginger, and then we can get on with these names because I want to.
Yes. Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so like when I cut open ginger that is kind of more normal, what you get is a yellowish color, but I am looking at it's the exact same outside appearance, but when cut in half, it sure does look blue. Wow. Oh, now I want some blue ginger. Jake, does it taste different? Like, is there something special about it other than a cool color?
Still trying to figure out what Miles has said. But anyway, all right. This is actually.
I think, David, it was a joke or a riff off of you saying something about why is all this blue?
Yes.
What's all this about blue?
Right, right.
I think that's what was going on, and it was just out of that Copico context. We didn't have the extra K.
I'm actually really surprised that Miles is saying blue ginger to the tune of black velvet when it could have been blue ginger to the tune of blue velvet. We have blue ginger, whereas Miles was suggesting blue ginger in that little boy style.
Okay, black velvet is, and now I had to look up blue velvet because I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
The song by the person that you know
By
very
Bobby
well,
Vinton.
Elvis.
None of the top hits are for Elvis.
You're telling me Elvis never did...
Bobby Vinton is...
Elvis never did the song Blue Velvet?
It was a top hit for Tony Bennett and Bobby Vinton. And so, no, like Elvis did Blue Suede Shoes.
Lana Del Rey. The Clovers, the Statues.
Blue Christmas, yeah, Elvis did Blue Christmas. Right, Miles?
So, Elvis famously, wore velvet and had photos of himself in velvet. He has a song called Blue Suede Shoes and Blue Christmas, and he never once covered Blue Velvet.
It was too on point.
He just heard that, no, it's too much like me. I'm out of here.
Oh, man. All right. David.
Mm-hmm.
21 minutes. Let's make some decisions here. Can you tell me more about these necromancers?
By the way, 21 minutes and I got 29%. We'll see if I make it. I've turned everything off on the computer. I have no idea what's going on.
Whatever it is, though, it is... I don't know if it's the new OS. because I recently, like, some days my battery will be absolutely normal in terms of functioning, and I can have everything open and it's fine. Other days, I swear only two things are open on my computer, and I lose my battery within a day. And, like, that's not normal because it's not like I'm, running huge graphics files or anything like that. And so for it to just, like, absolutely run out of power when I use it for word processing is really weird.
Yeah. So what I want to do next is I want to actually jump out of the necromancers and go to the casters. And
those are the sites moves, right?
Yeah, and do the 1 star, because we have our we have our 1 star, and now it's our second 1 star. Because these are the ones that were supposed to be younger, not necessarily because they weren't good, but because they were young, because, that was what the cooperative version was going to feature those.
Jonathan, excellent wordplay. Nicomancers, that's the Japanese word for cat, and then catsters. Love it.
All right. Ichethehes.
Which I love, by the way. That's just so fun. Ichethehes.
Okay. This is a... This is a girl kitty that's essentially the impetuous version of, like, I think Simba and I Just Can't Wait to Be King. It's like, starts to learn the rudiments, and it's like, yeah, now let's jump to the most difficult thing, please. And then, yeah, because, let's say this one right here, either going to be a father or older brother. So these,
the 4 star?
Yeah, so these two will be related. But basically it's like, this is who she grew up with and emulates and idolizes, and so wants to be exactly like them immediately. What do you think? Older brother or father?
I mean, either works. Is there, like, a potential age gap that you want? Because if there's an age gap you're shooting for, that...
Oh, right. Hard to imagine a big age gap with cats, huh?
It's as big as maybe you would want. And I feel like, potentially even with the way that, the magic is working and is changing certain things about cats biologically, like at some point I would imagine you stop having cat babies, and therefore there's a certain age gap that wouldn't sort of go over for siblings.
Yeah. For one that powerful, it will be the dad kitty. Okay. Yeah. Okay, very good. All right, so that gives us something. Also, I mean,
I think it also gives more Simba vibes, because it's like,
yeah,
kid seeing dad doing something and is like, I can do that, and tries to jump right into it.
Suddenly, this game just got very dark. Get up, Daddy.
You took it there.
I didn't make the movie.
And yes, anime fan, Roman is the word that gives us the kingdom name for the cats at large.
Yeah.
And so Roman is definitely...
Roman is already represented, yeah.
Right, Jake? Right? We're all like, David. Capital D. David.
Okay. All right, so now we just need some... We need some names for these. And I would like them to be the same order in the litter that they were in. Whatever it is.
What do you mean the same? Or you mean like the dad and
Yes.
the kid?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so like if one is third, the other's third.
Yes.
Okay. Jonathan, I meant a final D. A capital final D. David! That's,
Oh my God, David.
Exactly. Oh, now I just want to go watch Schitt's Creek. Okay. These casters, is there anything else we need to know about them? Like, yeah, Miles, right? Ew, David.
Well, they no longer master fire. They now master the wind. We know that.
Okay, so these wind... Oh yes. The cards I made for Sovalidzi, old enough, well, of course old enough because this was only more recently, they do indeed have the wrong names on them.
Only one of them, right?
Well, I guess so. I guess that was the only one
It was
that
only
changed.
only one.
But yeah, there is some error.
The fire paw.
The fire paw is in the old game, so it will forever be preserved in Little Sovala. Okay.
All right.
So yeah, any more information like personality or anything to guide us instead of... Otherwise, I'm just gonna shoot at a dartboard and pick the sound I like the best.
So.
That's not shooting at a dartboard though. That's me actually picking what I like.
It's a high achiever she's a higher achiever in her magic class, but is ready to jump lesson 1 to lesson 90. Be just like her dad. All right. And the father is highly respected magic user. Who nevertheless would rather stay home and
True, Jonathan.
knit.
So me.
You as a tomcat.
And so we need, based on some phonoaesthetics, I'm gonna say these are third-borns, and actually youngest of their litters, a small litter, and so they were youngest. It was the youngest child. He was born with great abilities. Just wants to stay home though.
All right. So let's see. All right.
As a side note, as people are discussing what different diminutives Savala could take, I do want to point out that the Edzi diminutive from Ingala is actually flea. That's the origin of it. And that delighted me to no end that I was making the Sovala, the flea Sovala game. Because it's like Sovala, but for fleas. Little tiny jumpers.
All right. So that will be yes for both. Yes. And now...
And when you say that, I think you mean marron, marongos, for third.
Third, marongos. Very good. I think I was confused. You said youngest, and I just went to fifth.
I had mentioned that it was a small litter.
You had mentioned
because
that.
I feel like once you're the youngest of 5,
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to claw your way to the top.
Oh.
Versus youngest of 2 or 3, you're like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm good right where I am.
Good point. All right. Very good. And now we need some names. Oh my God, I have an idea, but we're going to need some. We're going to need a word for this. I was thinking that the girl's name could be Quiet Rain.
Ooh. And we don't have rain, is that what...
We have rain, we don't have quiet. Yeah, I know.
David. How you feeling us?
I know.
Okay. And I had gone to, for the father, I was thinking of using something along the line of like sunspot or something, where like he was the baby who always found that sunspot and like just really leaned into that soaking up the sun.
That has the protoform E. I remember. Nice and simple. And so do we have a word for Mokava yet? No, we don't.
No.
And we don't have a word for warm. We're missing a lot of descriptive words, which we should have more given how easy it is to have them in this language. They're just intransitive verbs.
Well, we did note up above, right, that we want to potentially use these words, rain and sunspot, because
yeah,
I think in 8 minutes we might be able to come up with at least one of them, but I don't want to lose the idea.
Oh, I think that I've got it written down, but I think that we can do both of them.
Okay.
It's just a matter of figuring out how we want things to work. So rain is rek. Rek.
That is delightful. Okay.
Mm-hmm. What is the deal with people with motorcycles where they have to turn them on and then sit there with them on?
That's not a motorcycle, that's a diesel engine, and you do have to let it warm up before you start driving.
You can tell that's a diesel engine as opposed to a motorcycle.
My dad has a diesel truck.
Well, yeah, but does he ever have one this far away?
I mean, when you're inside a house and it's outside, it's usually out by the canning shack, so yeah. That was a motorcycle. No, you're right. That sure did sound like a diesel truck.
Who was right?
God.
Who was right? Who was right? Oh, what a day this is.
Do you want a Copico?
Kind of do. It's all the way over there. All right. So this is the sunspot is easy because it's just going to be E. It's just going to be E at the end of the word. So it should probably be something that ends in a consonant for whatever word we're going to come up with to modify sunspot. There's happy. No, but that ends in a vowel. And then the other one is rek.
Okay.
All right. Let's hustle our buns here.
Okay, so sorry, I was looking to see what words we already had, and I was going through just like a find to see if we had any words that I was brainstorming, and we sure do not. Two of them we ended up having as sort of noun classes, but the origins of those words, class markers, I didn't like as much. So anyway, so my brain was doing that. I should have just been coming up with ideas, right? We should just come up with roots. Did you... Where are you right now, David? Please tell me so I can work on the other thing.
It's going to end with reke because it's going to have that suffix on there. Okay. Working on a word for quiet. Think of a word that should modify sunspot. Just a meaning. Start with that. Because this is the idea that you came up with. So let's roll with that. What's a meaning that's going to go with sunspot?
Well, warm was the thing I was looking up.
Warm, and we don't have it.
We don't have it.
Okay, that's fine.
And then I was also thinking of something. But yeah, I like warm. I think we should just do warm.
Okay.
Because anything else that I was searching we didn't have anyway, so it doesn't matter.
All right.
Warm, bright. Yeah, we also don't have bright. I looked that up. And exactly, Jake would be toasty.
Oh, this thing, because of the number of syllables, it'll actually, the K will go to a G.
Because it's far enough away from the stress.
Mi reggae, mi reggae, mi reggae. Ma reggae, mu reggae, nu reggae.
I mean, I liked mi reggae.
Yeah, it could also stay a K if it was done, if the sound change happened late. I don't know, if it was interpreted differently, basically, if it was interpreted as a compound and not as a single word.
Gotcha.
And
then Miles had suggested potentially maybe for warm, kalm becoming ke, or kal becoming cal. Ooh. Miles, we would end up, if we did that for sunspot, wouldn't we end up with like Caliba? That sounds cool. So I like that, David. I'm gonna suggest that for warm.
Okay.
And see if you like it too.
What is it?
Q-L is the protoform, which should come out as K A umlaut L. And then with because sunspot was like Ibe, right?
It's just E.
Oh, E, so Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we would end up with another potential Kelly reference.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And so Kelly.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Is a beautiful name. I'm just going to attempt to make an entry? Question mark. And I'm sorry if I do it wrong. Oh my gosh. I just picked up a speech habit from your sister. Did you notice?
Yeah.
Oh. David's sister's awesome. So I don't mind.
Okay, there's that.
You may want to check my work.
Mirege or mireke? Essentially, we're also making a decision about how these things are thought of in terms of where the sound changes apply. So on mirege or mirege.
Can you say those two again? Because I swear I heard the same thing.
Mirege. Mireke.
The voicing. Okay. I kind of like the G.
Okay. That's simpler. All right. So that one's done. And now...
Go check out the Cal entry and see what you think. Oh, that's also like... David is an alum of Cal. And so, look at that.
That's true.
And I based it off of the entry above it. So, FYI.
That's good. That I don't know about. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you'd have to say it like that, yeah. Okay, yeah. And now...
I entered warm on the English side. You were doing quiet. Did you enter that on the English side? You did. It's right there. I see it. We're good.
Yeah, okay, so now this is a compound, right?
Right.
You're right. It's a compound, and so the vowel harmony rules don't apply. And so it is Cali.
That is so delightful.
Yeah. All right.
Yay! Okay, we got 2 names done. Fixed a name. Had a lot of lively discussion. I think that's a wrap for this stream.
Yeah. Entering them into the spreadsheet.
Thank you all for being here. And as a reminder, again, if you're a patron, this Saturday's patron live stream at 1 p.m. Pacific is going to be really something fun and interesting. So be there if you can. If you can't, make sure you check it out as soon as you're able after the stream. And so thank you all. Hope you're all still enjoying whatever holiday season you celebrate. And if you celebrate none of them, I hope that the start of 2025 brings you hope, joy, and a positive outlook moving forward. Until 2025, if you're not going to be here on Saturday, we're signing off. We'll see you on January 2nd. And stay grammar.
Bye, everybody.